Attention entrepreneurs, if you are looking to build a thriving community of raving fans, of excited customers ready and excited to throw their credit cards at you when you announce your next offer, well, I'm here to tell you that we have to focus not just on putting out great content that's going to engage people, but instead I want you to stop playing that game. That's the game of content. I want you to instead shift to playing the game of connection. I want you to focus instead on building those relationships with everyone that comes into your world. And it's great because as you're growing your company online, before you get to be billions and billions of followers or whatever is happening up there in the blue checkmark world, as you're growing your business, you have this beautiful opportunity that you're small enough that you can still engage with your people. One-on-one, answer their questions, provide them that great value. That is a beautiful place to be in. So today we're talking about how to maximize that community engagement, whether we're creating communities on our Facebook pages or in our chat groups or of just people who have purchased our products or whatever. So we're going to talk about that, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm Coach Molle from Visibility Hacking Studios, and we help small businesses grow their visibility online in a variety of different ways. And so today we're going to use all of that experience and knowledge we have behind us to help you and your small business. But there's a bit of a trick to this. You have to engage. You have to actually call and response with us down in the comments below. I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to actively think them through and write your comments down below. Before we begin, I have to remind you that impactful engagement, community engagement, is far beyond just likes, shares, and comments. It's about actually connecting with the human behind those data inputs. And that's what I need you to focus on before we move forward with anything we're going to talk about today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to know what you're measuring in order to not miss the mark. We're also going to have a quick reminder that we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth and why that matters. And at the end of the video, we're going to talk about unlocking your community members' motivations. That's the trick to conversion. So stay tuned. When you're setting any types of goals, whether they're time management related goals, goals for your fitness or finances, goals for your business, you have to make sure that a good goal has a way to measure its success. And the same thing happens when we're building our visibility online. We want to make sure that we are measuring the right area. And that's going to be dependent on how big our email list is to start with, how big our follower count is, what type of content have we been putting out there, how engaged are our people when we start this process, because it's going to be completely different for your business as it is for the next person watching. And so I want you to understand that those goals and what we're measuring are going to be unique to your business. And in the world of visibility hacking, we have 3 different places where we like to look at setting our goals. There are 3 different areas of visibility, let's say, levels of visibility. Level number 1 is where we should all be starting, at least, and that is the level of perception. How is your brand being recognized? The kinds of content you should be creating at this point is all about getting your brand's recognition. Sharing testimonials, you want to be sharing what it is that you do. You want to be hyping up your people and your results, showing people how you get them those great results. You want your brand to be perceived as super valuable. So don't just stack it full of testimonials. Of course, bottom line with any piece of content is making sure that it is valuable to the audience first and foremost. So, of course, you're going to be creating content full of tips and strategies and tools and whatnot that all tie back to your core offer. The second area that we set goals is in the area of engagement. This is where we're looking at that quality of connection that we have with our people. Are we really making the right content? Is it in alignment? We have ways of testing that, ways of seeing if we are properly in alignment. This is where we're looking at, yeah, I want to have 1,000 likes on a post. We're looking at those kinds of vanity metrics if they need to be served. And then the third area that we set our goals is in the area of conversions. This is where we're talking about sales and money and closing the sale, because we can also create content that's specifically geared towards that goal. That content is going to be very different than the content that is familiarizing people with your brand. Very different strategies in using those, and they all come down to understanding what goal we are actively working towards with each piece of content, with each moment in our connection machine. So my first question for you guys that you're going to put down in the comments below is, what of those three is the area that you are focusing right now with your business? Are you focusing on building your brand perception, on building engagement with your content and within your community? Or are you solely focused on the top level of that process, on the conversions towards sales? Let me know down in the comments. Now, we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. At least most of us were. And I wanted to remind you of this because we should be listening twice as much as we're speaking. And this is essential for our businesses as we grow them, because we have to have a listening strategy involved in our business. Regardless of what kind of business you have, if you're not listening to your community, if you're not listening to your customers, then your business is going to suffer. And I've seen this firsthand. I got called into a business when they were in absolute crisis mode recently because they had failed to listen to their customers. During this crisis, a lot of businesses went into lockdown, and so did this business we're talking about. And they ended up making the choice to go into lockdown, to close down business, to not look at shifting remotely because they wanted to protect their employees, which is amazing. I'm all for that. Root for your team, treat them the best you possibly can. But because of that, they thought that that's all they needed to focus on, and they neglected the wider community. Now, the thing about this business is its superpower was building a community. It created an incredible space for so many different people within their community to gather. And unfortunately, they weren't tapped into the power of that community. And what ended up happening was there was a lot of negative comments that were floating around in the community that led to the downfall of the business overall. Now, they're getting back up, they're building themselves back, and they're starting to have those conversations with their community members and starting to make amends and fix what was broken, so that they can move forward and they can come back even stronger. But they wouldn't have been in that circumstance in the first place if they if they had just created a listening strategy and learned to systematically listen to their community. This should be part of your daily processes within your business. Just as important as counting the till at the beginning and end of each shift, it's just as important to tap in and connect with your community every day. So let me know down in the comments if you are connected with your community, and better yet, if you want to be connected to this amazing community here on the Visibility Hacking channel. All you have to do is click the subscribe button, and I would love to have you guys along as part of our incredible community of visibility hackers. Now, if you want to uncover what the individual motivators are for the people in your community, first strategy is literally just ask them. Second thing is to dig a little bit deeper and to start to uncover and understand what those motivators are for your people. You do this by asking questions, by setting up bonding calls, by having opportunities to just connect with your people. I love, in the visibility hacking world, we have Friday Night Live, which is the coolest live stream show on all of the digital marketing internet. So on Friday nights, we hang out with the visibility hackers. We bring them on the show. We get their questions answered. We help coach them through the process, so that when they're ready and excited to join us, they've already gotten all the work done in the background, and they're excited and ready to move forward and be successful with us. But this is because we have been able to tap in and really understand an analysis of what drives them. We do it on our live stream show where we can actually ask them questions and engage with them. You can do this by following their comments. You can do this by bringing them on bonding calls. But bottom line, you need to be mindful and intentional about looking for, on a regular basis, what is motivating your people. So there's two kinds of motivation. There is intrinsic motivation and there's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is motivation that's inside of us. Extrinsic is outside of us. Extrinsic, really easy to point out. If you're in a job, for example, an extrinsic motivator is a salary bump. An intrinsic motivator, on the other hand, is something that's a little bit more unique. It's tied closer to purpose and passion than it is to financial reward. So I want you to think about what those two motivators are for your people. You can also think of motivators in terms of what is pushing them towards something that's pleasurable and what is drawing them away, what is causing them to run away from something that is unpleasurable, that is uncomfortable, that is something they want to get away from. So you can think about it in different ways, but I need you to understand what those motivators are